You could say that President Uhuru Kenyatta was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, having been raised in State House by his father, founder President Jomo Kenyatta. 5 years ago, he returned to his childhood home as president, having won the presidency in a tightly contested race against Raila Odinga. He is again returning there as president after winning his second term in the tightly contested presidential bid. From the time the results started streaming in on Tuesday evening, it was clear Uhuru Kenyatta was in the lead, and he kept the lead despite losses in various parts of the country, such as Western Kenya, Nairobi, and coastal areas. With 54%, Uhuru had a comfortable lead against his main challenger, Raila Odinga. The competition had been so bitter and tight that Odinga outrightly dismissed the results, calling them fake. He pointed out that the transmission system had been hacked and fake results posted in. However, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission had the final word, and they declared Uhuru Kenyatta winner and the next president of Kenya for more 5 years. But who is Uhuru Kenyatta? New Vision TV now looks at the man Uhuru Kenyatta, who is said to make history in Kenya for retiring from presidency before the age of 65. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was born as Kenya was preparing for independence and was raised in State House until his father, the founding president Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, died in 1978. His name Uhuru means freedom, and he went ahead to lead a life of a free spirit until 2001, when President Daniel Arap Moi nominated him to parliament. When President Moi had only 1 year to leave power because of term limits, he nominated Uhuru Kenyatta, son of his own mentor Jomo Kenyatta, to parliament and named him Minister for Local Government. This was the start of what Kenyans then cynically called the project, meaning that Uhuru was just a project Moi was imposing on Kenyans. In 2002, the Kasarani International Stadium, the then powerful ruling party KANU, held its delegates conference at which all eyes were on outgoing President Moi to see who he would anoint as flag bearer. Long-serving Vice President Professor George Saitoti was highly expecting to be nominated. Moi instead proposed Uhuru Kenyatta, who was only 38 years old. Earlier, Raila Odinga, who had joined Moi hoping to be nominated, had also been disappointed. A furious Saitoti, a bitter Raila Odinga, and many senior politicians who had fallen out with Moi ganged up successfully against Moi's choice and backed the aging, Makerere-trained economist Mwai Kibaki in the 2002 elections. Kibaki trounced Uhuru, but nobody really saw Uhuru as Kibaki's opponent in the first place. It was Moi they wanted to humiliate and punish. At Kibaki's inauguration, which was attended by Uganda's Yoweri Museveni, the impatient crowds shouted insults at Moi. KANU virtually died with Moi's presidency. In 2007, Uhuru backed Mwai Kibaki for re-election against Raila Odinga. The election, widely believed to have been won by Raila, ended with Kibaki declaring himself the winner and taking oath swiftly after December of 2007. Bloody clashes ensued immediately, and in a matter of days, over 1,000 people were dead and hundreds of thousands internally displaced. Uhuru Kenyatta, with his massive financial fortune, is widely believed to have deployed fleets of buses to rescue Kikuyu people who were being killed in the Rift Valley area and Western Kenya. The buses, according to some accounts, ferried the dreaded Mungiki militia to effect the rescue. A coalition unity government was forced in Kenya by mediators under former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and Tanzania's Jakaya Kikwete. But Kenyans neglected setting up a local commission to deal with the post-election violence crimes as prescribed by the mediators. So after Kibaki and Odinga settled in as president and prime minister respectively, the then internal criminal court prosecutor Moreno Ocampo raised his hand. He indicted several Kenyans over the violence. These included Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. As the 2012 elections approached, William Ruto already regarded Raila Odinga as a traitor who had accused him to end up in The Hague. So he abandoned Raila and joined hands with Uhuru in the Jubilee alliance. Jubilee went ahead to defeat Raila Odinga's ODM. Uhuru got 50.07% of the vote, while Raila got 42%. Raila petitioned the Supreme Court, but Uhuru's victory was upheld by court. Moreno Ocampo's ICC indictment kept coming up during the campaigns, but the youthful team of Uhuru and Ruto dismissively said they could run the country from anywhere using digital communication technology. Uhuru and Ruto eventually overcame the ICC case, but not before they had to appear before court separately, even after being elected. Uhuru historically handed over power to his deputy when he traveled to The Hague to appear before court. Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency has seen a rapid improvement in government efficiency in Kenya. For Uganda, Uhuru's personal initiative has been beneficial. He streamlined operations at Mombasa drastically, reducing transit time for Uganda-bound cargo from Mombasa to Kampala from weeks to days. To achieve this, he had to, among other things, direct the Kenya Customs Director to shift office from Nairobi to Mombasa. He also opened the Kenyan market to Uganda's sugar. At one time, Uhuru with Presidents Museveni and Kagame of Uganda and Rwanda respectively had formed a coalition of the willing to speed up regional integration in the face of food, dragging by Tanzania and Burundi. Uhuru's leanings towards Uganda had become symbolically obvious when on polling day, before going to cast his vote for himself, he first went to commiserate with the family of Eria Kategaya, who had passed away in a Nairobi hospital. This endeared him to many Ugandans who were mourning their liberation hero, Kategaya. He is now president. It only remains to be seen how he will manage Kenya in the next 5 years.